Hey, TD superheroes. I am here to um, do some project stuff, yeah. Let's clear the history here. I just want to work on some scripts. Let me turn on my screen. There we go. And head back to Maya. So I want to build a tool. I have these scripts that I have over here, and I'll build them again from scratch just so that we can kind of see how they are done. And these were actually, if I go and look over here, I just copied and pasted actions from the history. So like if you wanted to do that and make a tool out of it, I can show you really quick. This is kind of like a shortcut tool making for some things that are going to be repeated exactly the same way, but not necessarily need any customization. So I'm going to set it to linear, and I can try making a arrow. So I have an arrow here, and we got the code there. I can highlight the code and then drag and drop it there. This is a mail script, and that's it. So now I can click that button, and it creates that tool. The proportions are off, but that's the general concept. But I'm going to kind of do a Python version of this instead. So I'm going to import Maya commands .cmds, and then I usually just shorten it to MC. It's way faster than typing all of this every time. I could use an IDE outside of Maya, and that would make things a little bit faster, but at this point most of all the coding I just wrote directly in here. It's just, I guess, the way I've been working, but I know that it will save time if I use an IDE. So let's take a look and mc.curve. So I'm going to be able to create a curve. It needs to be at least 1 degree, so that's why we got an arrow. So I'm going to say degrees 1, so that way it's not smooth. And then I want a set of points, and the points are inside of a list. Oops. So I can start off thinking about it as a arrow. I'm going to start over here, and I'm going to have the center be right there. Actually, let's have the center be right here. So I'm going to start off with, actually, let's do it this way. Let's build it this way. So I'm going to start off at 0 on the Y, 0 on the Z, but 1 on the X. So, or sorry, negative 1 on the Z. So 0, comma, 0, comma, negative 1. And then we'll do a second point. That's going to be here in parentheses. 0, or actually it wouldn't be 0. Let's do 1, comma, 0, comma, negative 1. So let's see what we've done. We've just made a line here. So I'm going to go up this way, then this way, this way. Actually, so I'm going to go up 2, then here, 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 to create the arrow for this control. So I'm going to do a point, and I can delete this at this point. And let's expand this to make it a little bit easier for you guys to see. I usually do like to have a little bit of space where I can see it. Usually I do have it on my second monitor, but I'm streaming right now and you guys can't see my second monitor, so it's just helpful to have it here. We can do, so we moved up 1, so we know it's going to be 1, comma 0, comma -2. And then we'll set up another one, and this is going to be up another point. So it's going to be, let's say, actually 2 points. And do 3, comma 0, because we're never moving up for these curves. So these are all going to be 0. And then let's do 0. Let's make sure this is looking the way I think it's. And I like to test often. Another thing I like to do, let's just do this really quick because I'm just building a tool. Let's do mc dot select all equals true, and then mc dot delete. That way I can keep on running the code and it's not gonna keep on building a whole bunch of stuff just because I'm doing some testing right now. So at this point I could end it here, or I can build it out. This is a pretty easy shape, so I can keep on building it out. Or I could attach to curves. That would be another way I could do it. But I think I'm just going to keep on building it out. It's just one line of code for us. So we're going to go back here to this time 1, comma 0, comma 2. And these all should be in parentheses. And then it's going to be this, but in the positive. So comma, we'll change this positive. And then the last one, comma, and in the positive. So let's build this out, and we have a little arrow for us. If we wanted this to be a little bit longer, we can push it out further if we wanted to. So instead of to -1 here, let's go to -2. And then this will be, oops, sorry. This is what I want, 2. And this will be at 2. Then this will be at 2. And this will be at 2. Then this one, since we brought it up one more, we're going to do at 3. Sorry. No, that looks right. This is what I want to update to 4. So if I do it, now I got a little bit longer of an arrow there. Alright, so that is a arrow that we can use for our scripts. So that's pretty useful. Let's put this into a function. So actually, let's put this into a function too here. Or define clear scene. And then that will be this. And then let's define over here, define make arrow. And we'll put that inside of that function. That works out pretty well. Something that we could do that would be kind of useful is the length of this arrow. Maybe you want it to be able to control the length. So over here where we put all these 2's, we can put it for a variable length. call the function. Let's do clear scene. We want to call that. And then we want to call make arrow. And then for the value here, let's do it 1 to start off with. We got a short arrow. And then 10. So here we can see a little bit of the issue where it is running back on itself. So let's modify that, because this is going to be, we want it to be, so if we have it 1, I designed this to be at 2. So it's basically whatever this value is plus 2. So we can adjust that here. Can make it length plus 2. So now at 2, that's fine. If we do it 1, we still have an arrow there. Uh-oh. Let's copy this. I lost it somehow. If I do it at 10, I have a longer arrow. So that gives us a little bit of functionality. Then let's look at creating a window for this. And let's actually give this a name too. Let's say name equals arrow CTRL. Let's put an underscore. That'll make it easy for us. There you go. So when I run it, we got arrow CTRL. Okay, so now that I have that, I can go ahead and let's create a UI for this. So let's create a new window, Python window, just so that we can look a little bit at creating a window. So the basics of creating a window. Import maya.cmds as MC. I'm going to do it all in a function. Define create window. Just pass for right now, and then here we're going to run create window. So this will be a tool that will just show you kind of how to create a basic window, and then you can incorporate that into whatever projects you're working on. So we have create window, and right now we're passing, so we're going to go in and start off with mc.window. We can give it a name here, my window. And actually, let's call this, let's have this as a variable so that we can use it in the future for other stuff. So my win, just call it my win. My win. And then over here, I'm just going to call it test win. There we go. So here I'm creating a window, but we need one more line for this in order to show it. So that is just show window. And we have to tell it which one. My win. Let's run this. I got a window. Yay. So let's run this again, and what you will see is here we actually got an error. It says it's not unique. Depending on the version of Maya, it might actually let you create a new window. In this case, it's not. We're using Maya 2022 right here. So they've fixed that issue where we're not be able to create a whole bunch of new windows, but we also are not able to update this window when we run the code. So what do we do about that? We have to go in and put a conditional statement. MC dot, or sorry, not MC, if MC dot window, my window, or my win, because that's the variable, comma, exist is equal to true. So here we're just checking to see if the window does exist. Let me bring this in so you can see all the code. Does the window exist? Yes. If yes, mc.delete UI, and then we have to call in my win. Okay, so let's test this out right here. Creates a window. We are good. We don't have any errors. Let's try running this again. You can see that it kind of flickered on and off the screen. There we go. So that works. You can see it's called test win, and it's updating each time. We still have this here, but that's just the scene. It was not updating. Okay, so we have a window. We do have some layouts that we need, so let's set up a basic layout. I usually always start off with a column layout. Sorry, my typing. There we go. Column layout. So mc.column layout, and that lets you put things inside of there, inside of our window here. So if we could do like something like a button, we can give it a label, or L just for label, equals, and then we can give it press this button. Okay, so if I create this, we got press this button. Okay, so that works out pretty well. We do want buttons to be able to run functions, so let's define a function. This is going to be button pressed. And then I'm going to say print you pressed a button. So it just prints it. Right now it's not doing anything, but we can just say copy this, go down here, comma, C for command is equal to, and then it's looking for a string, so we have to put the function name in a string. And there we go. So when we push this button, you'll see you press the button. And you can do whatever command or action you want with that through there. So that's how you would do a window. Let's go in and copy this section. And let's bring it into our other tool. Okay. Here, I'm going to call a function, but let's say it's make arrow. And then length, we'll set it to 2 for right now. And then here, let's call it make arrow. And then this is going to be our TD controls. So that's going to be our window that we are creating. Then let's clear the scene. Not that it really, oops, I pushed the wrong button. Make arrow. Let's take this and put it here, put that there. Okay, and then we're not going to call make arrow here because we're going to do it with the window that we just created. Oops. Let's save this script. That's actually a good idea. Save script, desktop, and we'll call this our TD window. And I'll name this TD window. Okay, so I create that. I have a little window here. I have the make arrow. So if I click it, we get the arrow. We do have the functionality for creating the value here. We can actually set that as a variable. So let's do that. Let's do we want a integer mc.int field. So you can see we get a integer field here. And then I think it's grp int field group. So if we do that, let's look at the int field group command documentation. Get this here. Number of fields, we have 1, but it gives you the label. So let's compare that really quick to the just infield. Can we get a label in the infield? Oops, I just want to check this one. Command documentation. Have it over here. So we don't get an option for a label on this one, and that's usually why I end up going for the int field group grp. The label equals, so that's an L, equals, and then we can give it a name, something like arrow length. Okay, so when we redo that, we have that there. Here with the button, since that's kind of moved everything over because the infield group does do that, we can choose if it's going to be on the alignment where we want to adjust it. So line, we have a string align AL, and it's looking for a string. Let's try that. So comma AL equals, let's try right. Left. Let's see if we can see that in the examples. Command doesn't give us an option there. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about it for right now. Okay, but we have the arrow length, and then just call it a length as a name for that. So here, I want to make sure that I have a reference to that variable. So we want to be able to query that value into here. And then we're going to do plus. So I'm going to do str because we want to convert it to a string. And then we're going to say mc dot int field grp. Then we'll call that one the a length query, which is a q equals true. And then I think its value equals true. Let's see if that works. Nope. So let's look at the infield group and see what we can gather here. We want to be able to find something that is queryable. Oh, it's going to be value 1 because there's multiple values in there. So that's the mistake that we're doing here. So it's going to be v1. Let's make sure that is accurate. Yep, v1, value 1, returns an int. So what we're going to do here is do this a little bit differently. So it's created here. And the make arrow, we're going to adjust it. So it's not going to have length anymore as a value there. And then we're going to not clear the scene, but mc.int field group a length q equals true, v1 equals true. And we're going to hold this into a variable. So it's going to be length since it already is there. Let's try that. There we go. Do 3. Make arrow. A length not found. Let's make sure that this is the same name. Oh. TH. So that is what's going on here. Let's try that now. 10. There we go. 3. Uh-oh, it didn't delete it. And that's because we're not clearing the scene each time. We're only clearing it when we create the windows. So that's fine. Let's create a button here since that is something that I'm going to want to do while I'm testing here. Just going to say mc.button and label equals clear scene. And then command equals clear scene. And that's the function we created earlier. Let's see that. So we have create that and then clear scene. Cool, that works. I would like to have a default value inside of this, and we can set that just by doing v1 equals, and then we can set a value. So let's say the default value is 2. So we can see now that it starts off with the number 2. If you did want a arrow that was there. If we put -2, you see that it'll do something a little weird if we go to negative values. But if we stay in the positive, it works fine. And this is a tool for us, so we don't have to worry about that too much right now. but we can make it a little bit more friendly later. Okay, so let's look at making another tool in here. So I have the arrow here, and let's make a curved arrow. So let's define make curved arrow. So I'm going to need the arrow. Let's copy the arrow function and then make curved arrow and paste it here so that we can just focus on what we're doing here. And I'm going to start off with make curved arrow. So we're going to be defining, or not defining, but we're going to run that function here, and it's going to be based off of this. And then right now I don't have an in-field group that is for the length here. Let's say this time it's always going to be equal to 1. And we can define that later. But in this version, I'm just going to make it where it equals 1. I am creating something. Am I? Oh, that's because we need to make sure that it is a function. So we start off with that. Now I want to do a curve, a circle. Curve tool, or sorry, NURBS primitives, circle. And in the circle, it has an attribute that gives us a sweep value. So if we put it at 90, we get a curve like that. And let's say we wanted it bigger. We can do 3. And then let's just move it down. Not rotate, it's going to be translate, and it's in the Z 2. And that will be it. And then basically we need another one. It's going to be here. And that will give us a result like that. And that is cool, but I think it looks a little weird here with the way that they're kind of narrowing it down towards each other. So let's take the sweep on this. Let's do it at 45. Okay. And then if we duplicate that and bring it down. Oops. Control D. And snap it down. We have a bit of a curved tool like that. Let's test. Oh, I know how to make it better. Okay, so let's put this back at 90 because I do like how it's curved over it that way. And then what we want to do is create a polygon or NURBS circle. This one is going to be here, sweep 90, radius 2. So it's going to be 4. Let's just move this over here. There. And this one, we can see that it's still closing in, but if we do it, instead of we double it, we do it at 4. Now we have the same spacing, so if we double it from radius of 2, radius of 4, then in the future what we can do is double up this tool to do this, and then we can rotate it -90, and then we'll have a double curve like that. So let's work on doing that as a tool. I mean, I already have it because I've tested this out. So well, I guess that one didn't work. Double curved arrow. There's that tool. So let's do it in our tool that we have here. So right now when we create it, it just creates an arrow, which is good. Now I want to do or in here, let's mc.circle. And the circle we want to do is going to be of a radius equals 4. Sweep equals 90. And then let's run this here. That's good. We just need to make sure that we adjust where the normal is. And not rename, but command documentation. I want to double check the normal direction. I think it's NR. Yep. Normal. So we want it to point up the Y. NR equals 0, 1, 0. Yep. There we go. Let's make this a variable. Large arc is equal to that. And then small arch is equal to this circle, but it's going to be a radius of 2. So we get the 2 circles like that. And then let's print large arch just to see if we are in a list, which we are. So I just want to take the first item here. Okay, so I'm gonna mc.set adder, and I'm gonna move it down to Z. So it's going to be large arch, the first item in the list, plus dot tz, comma, and we're gonna move it down to and then this is going to be the small arch. It's going to go 1, 2, 3. So let's clear the scene just so there's a look. And I can tell that they both need it to be at 3. There we go. So now we have our curves. Let's make another arrow. And right now we're not returning a value. We do need to return a value on this arrow. mc dot or sorry, not MC, return let's call this my arrow is equal to that, and then let's print it just so that we can see if it is in a list. So we can see this time it is not in the list. So that's all we need. It's a little weird that some things get created in the list and other things do not. Let's look. Did I delete anything over at the end? It doesn't look like it. Okay. So now I have this access to that variable. When I make arrow, the first one is fine, but I need to be able to access the second one. So second arrow is going to be equal to this. And then I am going to move these here, but this is going to be a second arrow. And it's just moving 3 into Z right now, which is actually where we want it. That's good. Then we need to move it 1, 2, 3 over this way, and the X, negative X. So let's copy this, paste it. This is going to be translate X and negative 3. So let's clear the scene. That's good. And then we want to rotate this, and it's probably negative 90 degrees. Yep. So we can place it here. RY negative 90. There we go. So let's clear the scene. There you go. Just to make this a little bit easier, just like we did with the other script, MC dot select all equals true, and then MC dot delete. So each time I run it, it's just going to delete everything in the scene and create it here. Just because I'm building it out and I don't want to waste the time on going over here, but later on I will remove that. So now that I have this thing here, I want to create this all to be one curve because that's going to be helpful for us. So we can do that with mc.attach curve. And here we're going to need to actually have the variable for all of these. So I didn't create a variable at first, but I'll do this here now. First arrow is equal to that. So I have first arrow, second arrow, large arch, small arch. Those are all the things that we're going to connect together. So let's copy. And then I want to make sure RPO, so replace original, is false. And that will make an extra curve rather than replacing one of these. So if we run this, see that we have an extra curve there. Let's minimize this for a moment. And that is our curve that we need. So we just need to delete everything else. and probably give it a name. So we have this, and then we're going to do mc dot delete, and we need to delete all of these things. And let's give this a name. So name equals curved underscore CTRL. Oops, I forgot a comma after this. Uh-oh. Let's see where it is having the issue. Is there an error at this point? No. Is there an error at this point? Nope. Error here? Nope. Let's try running everything. Invalid input curve. It's giving us an error, but it's doing everything. Let's see. Let's comment this out. Actually, let's not comment that one. Let's comment out the delete. So we're getting an error there. Let's comment this one out. And we're not getting any errors here. Let's see. First arrow, second arrow. Large arch, small arch, RPO false. Let's see if I don't name this. If that will be any issue. It's working correctly, but it's a little worrisome that it is giving us that error. Let's see. First arrow, second arrow, large arch, small arch. Let's get rid of this and see. Let me rewrite this line because I see dot attach curve. First arrow, second arrow, large arch, small arch. Says history will be on the command. Yeah, I understand that because we didn't replace original. So here we can see that we have the whole curve, but oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. These are the direct curves, and remember how I had to do the 0 on these. So this is just going to be 0, 0. It's weird that it worked at all, but it did. Okay, so then we'll do RPO equals false. Name equals curved arrow underscore CTRL. There we go, no errors now. So the reason all of that was happening is that we were referencing in a list rather than the actual curve name itself. So I need to access which curve name is on the list here. So let us look at this. We have that. We want to modify a center pivot so that the pivot is there. And then we want to move it right onto the grid there for our control. So let's look up center pivot. It's probably X form. MC dot, let's see. Nope. Be X form. There we go. We're gonna have to look that up. Command documentation. Is there center pivot? Boolean is true. Cool. CP. CP equals true. Okay, let's test this. Center pivot, let's give it the name of this thing. Oh, I typed an X here for some reason. That's what's giving us the error. There we go. So we have the pivot centered. And we can see it is there. And then we want to move it to the world 0, 0. So what they're going to do, MC dot move the control. And I don't use move very often because normally I just do set adders. So let's look at the move. We want it to be absolute, which is true. And we have to set the values at the beginning. And then absolute was just a. Cool. So let's do a equals true. And then we want it at 0, 0, 0, and I am missing a parentheses at the end. Let's try that. Says positional argument follows keyword argument. Let's look at the example again really quick. Y equals true, so the arguments come in afterwards. Okay, but we need to put the name first and then the name of the objects. So the name of the objects have to be last. Oh, wait. Oh, it has to be right after the position. Okay. So let's do that. Cut that out. Paste it here. Okay, so we are not having that move it because it's okay. Absolute is not the value that we want. Move in world space. Xform. Because we're not actually setting the attribute, so we want to move it 2 and 1. -2 in Z and 1 in Y. Or not Y, but X. -2, 1. Oops, not A. 1. There we go. We have that. And then let's mc.xform. And that should be the one right before that. We have xform freeze. Set rotation of that. Observe. Is there freeze transformations? Well, let's just do here. Modify freeze transformations. Make identity. Make identity. Apply equals true. T equals true. R equals true. And S equals true. So I'm doing the translate, rotate, and scale, applying it. So everything should be at 0, 0, 0 here. Cool. Oops. Okay, so we have that curve tool there. And then that is it for the curve tool. So let's incorporate this into the script here. So to make things easy with the arrow, I am going to remove the infield group because honestly, realistically, I'm not going to make different size arrows. And then over here, instead of searching for that field, let's go ahead and just make that 2. So when we make an arrow, we have that arrow there. Then we're going to make a curved arrow. So make curved arrow. Make sure that it's spelled the same way. Curved arrow. There we go. So here we're just calling the arrow. That is fine. That all looks good. Okay, let's see if it works here now. Make curved arrow. So we did get an error. Line 14, unsupported operand type. So let's check line 14. Type error, line 14, operand type 4. it's probably not talking about this. So if we do that, we're not getting any errors. That's good. Oh, that's because over here we're not returning the value. We updated the arrow script to return the arrow value. So I'm just gonna do that and then make arrow. That works still. Great. Make curved arrow. There we go. The only thing is that I wanted the arrow to be at 2. Make arrow, make curved arrow. I am clearing the scene here, so let's make sure we get rid of that code. So I can make arrow, make curved arrow, we still keep it in the scene, but we can clear it with that. That is great. Okay. Let's organize this a little bit here. So in the UI, I'm just going to add a text, mc.text, label equals and then the clear is going to be above that because it's not a controller script. Invalid syntax, that's because I am missing a parentheses. There we go. And then let's just add a little bit of space. MC spacer. Space. What is that? So let's go to the command documentation, the reference. Not in there, but over here. I want to search for space locator. Just look at Windows here. So this is all the stuff for Windows that we can create. I think it starts with an S. Am I completely mistaken? Preference, Windows, grid. Panel. Separator. Not spacer, but separator. So let's add that here. Not there. Here. MC dot separator. There we go. And then here we can look at the command documentation. We got that, and I just want to add a little bit of a height. Let's do style single. So I don't see anything there. Really, usually what I use it just for the height. H. equals 10. So I'm adding it there on top. And then let's put it here, and then after that. So we got a little bit of space there. That is good. Okay. So I have that. Let's make a box control. This one should be easy. I'm going to write it directly in here. Or not box, a square. We'll start off with square, and then we'll define a box. Make square control MC dot curve, and we're gonna do the degrees equal to 1. The points, let's add a name first. Name equals square underscore CTRL. And something to note with the controls right now, you can create a square with the NURBS, but the problem with this is that you can see it's made out of different objects, and we have a different curve for each one of them. So we're going to make that all one curve. So that's points equals, let's do 1, or we need it inside of parentheses, 1, comma, 0, comma, 1. So if we look at it, that would be right here. So let's move up here. So it's going to be negative z, 1, comma, 0, comma, negative 1. So that's coming up here. If we just run this, we have invalid syntax. Why is that? Oh, because I haven't closed the bracket here. So just running this line, we have a line there. So we need to expand it on the other directions here. So we're going to go to negative, negative. So negative 1, comma, 0, comma, negative 1. Then we'll stay with the negative 1x, but positive z. Negative 1, comma, 0, comma, 1. And then we come back around to the original point over here. That is going to be that first one that we did, where they're both positive. Let's expand this a little bit there. So that's what that curve will look like. Let's make sure it creates a box for us. So run that. We got a square control. Awesome. Let's go ahead and add that as a button. MC.make, or sorry, not make, button label equals make square control equals, and then let's get that one here. Alright, so we have our code, we have a new button here, make square, there we go. Still make curve arrow, make a regular arrow, clear the scene. Very nice. Okay, so now let's go ahead and expand on this. We'll want a 4-way arrow and a 2-way arrow. So like a double arrow, something like that. A 4-way arrow, that would be great. So let's start off by making a double arrow. MC dot, or sorry, not MC. We're gonna define double arrow. Make arrow. And oops, I don't need that. I need make arrow. So first arrow is going to be equal to that, and the second arrow is going to be equal to that. Let's add it into the button, and then we can test it with the UI. MC dot button label equals make double arrow. And then command is equal to this function that we created here. So we have the double arrow. And let's close the parentheses, and it's going to be in quotes. So make double arrow. Right now it has 2 arrows, but they are right on top of each other. So let's take the second arrow, and basically we want to scale it -1 on X, and we'll flip it that way. There's going to be an issue with just doing that, but I'll show you what that is. So mc.set adder, second arrow is going to be equal to, or sorry, not equal to, plus dot scale X is -1. So let's clear the scene, make a double arrow. So we have that there. Like with the curved double arrow, we would want to attach it. So mc dot attach curve. I'm gonna do first arrow, comma, second arrow, comma, RPO is equal to false, and let's give it a name. So the name is equal to double arrow underscore CTRL. Let's clear the scene, make double arrow. So this is the issue that we have. It connects it there because of the point numbers and the arrows. It tries to connect it there rather than connecting it straight across. So let's copy this here, and if we do it on the Z as well, let's clear the scene and make a double arrow, you'll see that we won't have any issues. So it looks like it will work the other way, but we have to flip it and then it will work. And then mc.delete. And we're gonna delete these two because we don't need them after we've created it. Let's create the scene, make double arrow. There we go. We have a double arrow. So let's make one for a quad arrow. Define quad arrow. And I should probably add make because we've been doing that. Make double arrow. And then make quad arrow, so that way it stays consistent with everything else. And then we'll come back and finish that right now. I'm going to go back to the window here and add a button. Label equals make quad arrow. C equals, and we need that. There we go. And then we need to update this one because we changed the name. Make double arrow. Okay, here in this function we need to add something. Let's just put pass for right now just to test it. Make sure that the double arrow still works and we're not getting any errors on quad arrow. That is good. So I'm gonna steal some of this code. Actually, all of this code. And then I am going to make this, copy it. So this is going to be third arrow, fourth arrow. And that will give us the ability to have more arrows. And then let's start moving them around. So this is going to be translate x. It's going to be -1. And then that works out well for that one. And let me, oopsies, paste this here. This is going to be the first arrow. And this is going to be +1. Let's test this right here. Make quad arrow. So we have the other two overlapping. These aren't connecting yet, but we can add those in a moment. And then that will be great. So let's take these and we're going to do the third and fourth. So let's do them one at a time. So it's going to be rotate Y 90, and then this is going to be the third arrow. Let's test that there. And we want to move it -1 in the Z. Oops. Copy that. Paste. So it's going to be TZ -1. Then let's copy both of these. And this is going to be -90. It's going to be 1. And then this is just the fourth. fourth arrow. There we go. And then let's add the third and fourth arrow. Oops. Control C, Control V, Control C, Control V. And then we need these here to be deleted. Then the name here, instead of double arrow, is going to be quad arrow. Okay, so let's test the quad arrow. So we didn't quite get it. Let's see what's going on. So we have the fourth arrow rotating -90. Fourth arrow not defined, line 23. Oh, because I have a D. There we go. Let's clear the scene and try that again. There we go, that works, and we have a quad arrow. That is awesome. We want to center pivot, so let's look at what we did over here. I'm gonna steal that there. Let's expand this a little bit. So the name of the curve is going to be our quad curve. And paste. There we go. Let's clear the scene and test out that quad curve. There we go. So we have a collection of curves that are super useful. And then let's do a variation of this that is going to be kind of curved on the inside. So I'm going to copy this and then make quad curved arrow. Then when we move it, instead of 1, we're going to do 2 on each one of these. And I need to create a button for that. So let's copy this, go down to our tool down here, mc.button, label equals make quad curved arrow. C equals, there we go, and then close parentheses. So if we make a curved arrow right now, it's connecting a little weird. That is fine, we're gonna fix it. Although that is kind of a cool tool. I'll have to think about that for the future. Have kind of like a spiraling type arrow. Maybe we could do that. We have a curved single arrow. Okay, let's do this one first, and then we'll see if we can do a curved arrow, which would be awesome. So basically it'll be curved arrow. That is a double arrow. I didn't make a curved single arrow, so we'll make a curved single arrow and then we'll make it kind of a spiral for quad arrow. Okay, so up here, make quad curved arrow. That's where we're at right now. So what we need to do is add some circles. Arch. Equals, or arch 1 equals mc.circle name. It does not give it a name. What we want is radius equal to 1 and the sweep equal to 90. So we have this little curve. We need the normal direction, and r equal to 0, 1, 0. Okay, so that should make it for us flat on there. That's good. And then we just basically need to move it. Oops, not that one. I'm gonna move it 1 and 1 to be there. And that's where we want it to be, so that way we can connect everything together. Okay, so I'm gonna do MC dot set adder arch 1 plus, and then we're gonna do dot tx and then we're gonna make it equal to 1. Actually, that should be -1 and -1 in the z as well. So -1, and then z is gonna be -1, and then here we're gonna change the name so that way we have it, and then here change the name. Then arch 1, I'm gonna add that there. MC. There we go. Let's clear the scene. Create curved arrow. We did get an error. Let's see, line 34. It's because it's a list. Circles, for some reason, output a list. So let's clear the scene and try that again. There we go. So we have a curved area there. I like that. And then we're gonna take this arched arrow and we're gonna do it 3 more times. So this one's gonna be 2, 2. And then let's rotate this. In the Y, RY, 180 degrees. So that means that these are going to be positive. Then arch 2 is going to be part of this list. No, I'll add at the deletes later point once I finish all of these. Let's clear the scene, make quad curve. So we got 2 of them. Now we just need the last 2. Let's go ahead and do that. So let's copy this, paste. It's going to be THREE, arch 3. Let's copy that, paste, paste, paste. And let's add it down here. Paste and set that up with a comma. Okay. So now we need to adjust the properties. So let's say we want positive Z and negative Z, positive X. So this is 3, negative Z. Let's make this, instead of 180 degrees, 90. Let's clear the scene. Okay, curved arrow. Oh no. So you can see that it is the wrong orientation. So it's going to be negative 90. Let's clear the scene. Make quad curved. Perfect. Now, basically for 4, we're going to do the inverse of that. So this is going to be arch 4. Paste, paste, paste. It's going to be 90, positive, negative. And then over here, add that to the list of what things we're attaching. And since we're here, let's copy all these arches and add them here. Let's clear the scene and test this code. There we go. We have a curved quad. Okay, so I'm going to do a spiral one just because while we were experimenting with that, it looked cool and I want to do it. So let's copy this and paste it here. Make quad. Spiral arrow. Make quad. Spiral arrow. Let's go define this. Define, make quad arrow. And then we'll start off with this code, which will be really similar, and it should be kind of easy to make. So right now we have the make quad arrow, make quad, and then this one is the same as that. The thing that we're going to change is that we need to make a make quad double arrow, or make curved arrow. Let's see. Make curved arrow. Make square, make curved arrow. So right now we have 2 of them. This is going to actually be make curved double arrow. So let's copy that and fix it over here. Make, and then this is going to be double arrow. Okay, let's copy this. And then I am just going to do make curved arrow, make curved arrow. Okay. And then let's create that function. Let's find the curved arrow. Oops. Just make sure it's at the beginning. There we go. Instead of double, make curved arrow. We do not need a second arrow. And basically anything with second arrow, we're going to delete. Okay, let's test this. Make curved arrow. That is good. I want to make sure that I move the pivot over here, I think. Let's look at, yeah. So basically I want to move the pivot. Let's look at modifying the pivot. I think it's in the X form. Actually, you know what? I'm going to create it so that way the arrow is in the right place. That, and then I can freeze transformations, and then we do not want to center this. Okay, so let's test this really quick. And let's clear the scene and make curved arrow. That is good. And then make arrow, it's pointed that way. So I want to make sure that it is a little bit different with the way it's positioned. So let's copy this into the other window just so that we can work on making a curved arrow. And positioning it exactly where I want. So let's do the mc.select all equals true, mc.delete, just so that way I can keep on creating this. That is good. Okay, so let's comment this out. And comment this out, and comment this out. So right now when we run it, we have everything in separate pieces. So basically, if I scale these in the negative x, so let's take this small arch and large arch. Ooh. So this is going to be scale x -1. Then here, let's make this small arch. So we're creating it that way, which is where we want, and then we want the arrow to be positioned over here. So let's do that. MC.arrow, or let's just copy the, set adder, sorry. So we want to move it 1, 2, 3, and 3. Okay. And that is in the positive X and the negative Z. Actually, since we're doing that, let's just do MC.move. And it's going to be 3, comma, 0, comma, -3. And then we are going to do first arrow. I thought I said -3. Let's see. Oops, +3. There you go. And then we just need to rotate it 90 degrees. MC.row, or not rotate, but set adder first arrow plus RY, comma, is going to be, I guess, -90. There we go, that's cool. Now let's clear out these. So that kind of works. Let's not delete these for a moment. No, it automatically kind of centered the pivot, it looks like. But we are freezing the transformations, and that is set as the 0 point for it, but we want it. Let's see if we do not freeze transformations. Let's see where we are. It's cool. Okay, that is fine. Okay, that's the end of the arrow there. So, let's put this at the end and see if that fixes it for us. Nope, it didn't. Okay. So, I'm going to say mc.xform. And I believe this is where we set the pivot. So let's pivot. So we have the center pivot. That's not what we want. Pivot. Okay. That is true. What's RO? P equals true. ROO. ROO. rotation order. That's not what I want. So I know we want to affect the pivot. Where can we get some linear values? Rotation order, scale transforms, scale translation, shear, translation. Let's try T. So let's say P equals true, translation equals, let's try 0, 0, 0 at first. 0, comma 0, comma 0. So it translated it, which is not what I want. That gives us an error. Let's put it at the beginning. Comma, see if that works. That does give us an error. Object 0, 0 invalid. Okay. So let's see. Rotation order. Let's see if I actually do it manually. So I know that I'd want to do that and put it here. What does it say? Snap to grid release, enter for snap. That's not quite what I need. So let's do echo all commands. Let's do insert. Let's turn off insert and turn off echo all commands, and let's look at what's going on here. Okay, snap mode, update mask. Next center, move, RPR, scale, pivot, rotate, pivot. Okay, so that gives us an idea. So there is the pivot information. It is an attribute that we can get access to. So let's not use xform then. I'm going to say mc.move RPR is equal to 0, comma 0, comma 0. Then we want the objects, so let's put them at the beginning. We're going to say curved dot rotate pivot, comma dot scale pivot. So it is giving us an error, syntax error. Let's see. I'm missing a parentheses. Curved arrow, control. these are strings. Okay, so RPR is a Boolean. Let's put that equals true. Nice. And there we go. We have it there at 0, 0, 0. So this is our curved arrow script. And paste it there. We want to make sure that we're not deleting now because we have our own tool for that. Let's clear the scene, make curved arrow, make double curved arrow. There we go. You can see that they're different. Wait a minute. Oh, it's because it has the same name. So that's a good thing we caught that. Let's do double curved double arrow. Wait, no, that's not the double arrow. So I did Control Z. That took that out. It's this one over here that we need to name. Control. Double arrow. Okay, so that should be okay. The only thing is that it's better to do it as a variable. So let's call this my curve is equal to this, and then instead of this, we're going to reference the curved arrow. Okay, let's check this is for the double arrow. There we go, no errors, that looks good. Then let's check the curved arrow. We'll do the same thing. It says my curve is equal to this. Then over here, we're gonna remove this. It's gonna be my curve plus that. And then my curve plus that. And let's make sure that the curved arrow works and the double curved arrow works. It does. That is great. Here, let's look at that. I like it, but I want it to be there. Okay. So for the double arrow, let's clean that up. Make curved arrow. That is fine. It's the double arrow that we need to fix. So that is good there. And then actually, if we comment this out, where does that end up being? Let's clear the scene and make a curved double arrow. Okay, that's good. So we will take the idea that we did here and bring it up over here. Except it's just going to be my curve. Clear scene, and let's make the curve double arrow. There we go. That's what we want. Okay, so I have the curved double arrow, I have the curved arrow. Now we want to make the spiral, which is somewhere. There. So what we're going to do is actually make this easy. We've already created the curved arrow. Not the double one, just the curved arrow. And then when we make arrow, we can see, let's go find the make arrow. Let's make arrow. We're returning the value. So in the curved arrow, we need to do the same thing. I'm going to say MC dot, or not MC, sorry, return my curve. And then way up here, we're going to replace these for the arrows. So we're just using basically the same code as the quad arrows, but we're going to make them spiral. So we have an arrow here. Let's print my curve and make spiral error, spiral 107. Actually, let's clear the scene. Do we get that on the make curved error? We do. Okay. Oh, it's a list. Okay, we can fix that. Just to make it easy, my curve equals my curve 0. Let's clear the scene. Make curved arrow. There we go. We created it without errors. That is fine. Let's clear the scene and let's test the spiral arrow. There we go. That is a cool looking arrow. So that's a bonus control that I wasn't thinking about making, but I think is pretty darn cool. Another thing that we do with controls a lot of time is just set the colors. So let's do that really quick. MC.set, or sorry, text label is equal to change control color. Okay, so then we need buttons, MC.button, and label is going to be equal to blue BGC background color is going to be equal to, it's got a list. Is it RBG or RGB? Let's do 0, 1, 0. Oops, I need another parentheses. That's green. Now it's blue. There we go. So we're gonna copy this and let's make a red one. It's gonna be 0, 1. There we go. And then let's see. All right, let's just paste that. This could be yellow. What is yellow? Is it this? No. I know it's 2 values that are 1. Or is it? We can check Photoshop. That is an easy way to do it. Create new, don't care. So let's look here. 255. Okay, so it's red and green at 1. So there we go. Now we got a yellow. Okay, so we need each one of these. Do it, and let's do it all in one function. So here we'll do a command. Oops. Command is equal to change curve color blue. Okay, so then gonna have that and that, and then this is going to be red, and this is going to be yellow. Okay, and we'll define it up here. Define. This is going to be color. New color. There we go. Okay, so I want to make it a little bit more versatile, so I don't have to change it all a single one at a time. I want to do a selection, so I can do create a variable. Cell is equal to mc.ls. SL equals true, so that flag is selection. We're creating a list, and then for I'll call it curve. For my curve in the selection, we are going to do things. So we need the shape node because changing the curve color we need is the shape. So let's create a variable called shape is equal to list relatives s equals true. Then we're going to say my curve. And then let's just do print shape to test this out really quick. So I have something selected. Blue is not defined. That's because these should be quotes. Let's try that now. List relatives not defined. That's because it should be mc.listRelatives. Blue. There we go. We have an item, the shape node for that, so it is working. It's just giving it to us in a list. So let's make that easier on us because we only need that. Shape is equal to shape 0. Then I'm going to say if let's do mc.set adder and then let's check in here what the attribute name is. So we need to go into object display, drawing overrides, enable override. Okay. Shape plus dot override enabled. And we want to make sure that is set to 1. And then if new color is equal to blue, then we're going to do mc.set adder shape plus dot override color. I don't know the color. I'm going to guess 6. So let's push blue. Oops, I put set adder with a capital S. Should be lowercase s. Let's test it. Let's try it one more time. Oh, it did change. There we go. So we have it there. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know what? I already have the colors here. Let's just save us some time. We're basing it off the index. But I want to know red. That's 13. So if it is red, it's going to be 13. Not 16, 13. Let's test it. Turn it red. Oops. Turn it blue. Turn it red. Cool. Now we just need yellow. And select that and get the number here in the history. But like I said, you can go through and test it out over here, count the index numbers and get that. But I'm just trying to save us some time. Okay, so I'm going to go here. This is going to be yellow. And then we decided it was 17. There we go. So it's at yellow, red, blue, yellow. Cool. It's giving us all the colors that we need for our controls. Oh, let's create a box controller. I like that. I did mention that we were going to create a box controller. We created a square controller. Let's define a box controller. And I think this will be the last one. Make box CTRL. And let's go ahead and make a curve. MC dot curve degrees is equal to 1. Point is going to be equal to a list of points. So let's start off at a y of -1. So we're going to do 1, comma, -1, comma, 1. And let me kind of open this up so that I can visualize it in my head. And then call this make box curve. Let's create a button for it. Oopsies. So put it right on top. NC dot button label make box. Yeah, make box. That's gonna be C equals make box curve, and there we close that. This needs to be in a string. There we go. So we make box. We have the make box curve here, and then let's do negative, or let's put it in parentheses, -1, comma, -1, comma, 1. Then it's going to be negative, inside of parentheses, -1, comma, -1, comma, -1. Oopsies. Okay, and then we need negative one, 2, 3, 4. So we went to, okay. So we need 1, comma, -1, comma, -1. And just to test this out, oh, I need a parentheses. There we go. So let's make box. That is close. We just need to get the first point again. Comma, paste. And then let's clear the scene. make box. There we go. We have a box shape. Now, let's copy all of this. We're going to do it again from this point, but let's see. Here, we're going to make all of these positive for the y. Let's get me some more space over here. Okay, let's try creating this now. Clear the scene, make box. That is great. So now we just need to do the vertical lines in between. So here's where we transitioned. That is good. So what we do in order to achieve that, oops, not that. We're gonna copy this here and then paste it so we come back, but we need to add another value here in between. It's just basically that same value, but negative. So what that is doing, it's kind of going down and then back up, and then we need to do that for the next two. Before I lose all of this, let's save. Okay. Yeah. So negative, 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 positive. Oh, we could do it there too, I guess. I put this in the wrong spot, but it worked. That was just a coincidence that it worked. I wanted it in between. These are... Okay, that's the first one. Yeah, because we don't need to go up and down. I did do it here. So we need to do the second one. I kind of got lost because I was jumping back and forth. So I'm going to do the next two so that I don't get lost. So this is going to be -1. And then this is going to be -1. Let's check this. Clear scene, make box. There we go, we got a box control. And then I did think of one more that would be nice to have in here. I mean, it's already a basic shape. But we can add it here. Make circle. That way we're only using this. I end up using the circle control a lot. I want to make a circle. Oh, and this one we should give it a name. Name equals box underscore CTRL. Let's give it a name. Circle underscore CTRL. And then we want to make sure that the normal direction is pointing up in the Y. This is could be 0, comma 1, comma 0. And then make circle, we'll make that a control here. Let's copy this, make circle, make circle. Okay, so we have a circle control. We did get an error, and that's because, make circle. Let's see. We didn't get an error that time, so I must have spelled it different. So we have a circle control, and it's oriented in the direction that we always want it to be in for control when we're creating it. We might not always want it to be, but that is a good default for me. And we create it there for us. So that's it for the control. I still got some more time. Let's do some more cool tools. Let's do an align tool and a 0 group. So mc.text. This is going to be a label is equal to extra tools. Okay, and then I'm going to add a separator. Oopsies. And then we'll put a button. And then we don't need a background color on this one. The label, let's do it. Align. So I'm going to align controls here. Align to first selected. And then mc.button label equals create 0 offset group. And then let's call this 0 offset. Let's look at that. That looks good. Let's add some space on the bottom. There we go. That looks nice. And let's go here and create those tools. Define, align, CTRL. So I need the selection. I'm going to save that into variable MC dot ls sl equals true. And then we're going to align it to the first selected, so we need to get the tools for that. X friends is equal to MC dot get adder cell 0 plus dot tx. Okay. And this is going to be y and z. This will be y and z. Then we'll do this, but x rotate, y rotate, and z rotate. Okay, so we're getting all the attributes from the first selected object. And then for item in the selection, we want to set the attributes. So mc.set adder item plus tx. And then it's going to be equal to whatever the transaxis. Let's copy this. Then ty and tz, and then changing this to y and z. Then we want to do the same thing with the rotates. R, and then this is going to be X rotate, Y rotate, and Z rotate. So let's create something. Automation, skeleton, create joint. So we would be probably making a control like that, and we want to align it to that. And it works. No errors. That's what we want. And then if this had rotation, which at this point it didn't, then we can do that. That's great. So now we want the ability to create a zero group. The zero group, so if I select this zero offset group, this does not work, so let's go to edit. Yeah. So we get the selection, the selected item. We're getting the zero selected item. Then I'm just clearing the selection, but I don't need to. I'm creating two groups, and then we are assigning them to those values and then parenting everything together. So let's take a look at doing that. Define, and I think I just called it zero offset group, or just zero offset. So we're going to need a lot of this stuff here. Needs to be a colon, not a semicolon. Okay, so we need to get the selection. That is great. Then let's say that we want to do this inside of the loop now. And we're going to make adjustments to this. Okay. So instead of cell 0, we're going to put this item. So that way we have the X, Y, and Z. We need to create the groups. And let's clear the selection. MC dot select CL in case there's anything selected, which there likely will be at this point. True. Then we want to create a group. Let's call this our 0 group. We want to get the name of the item, and we already have it in name. So we're going to say item plus underscore 0 underscore GRP. And this is just going to be a name. So the name is equal to that. So if we go through and we create that, we've created, we got an error, line 142. Okay, let's just comment out this end part because we're not using it yet. So if I select this here, create 0 offset group, we still have an error on 142. Is it world equals true? There we go. World equals true makes a, oh no. Not enough objects. So let's check this on the command documentation really quick. And I want to create an empty group basically. Empty. EM equals true. EM equals true. Oopsies. Oops. I want to make sure that I'm saved this. Okay. So if I select this object here, there. We created a circle, control, underscore 0 group. That is great. Let's make this big. There we go. Okay, we need one more group. And this one is going to be our offset. And I'm going to make this all capitals too. Okay. Now, let's clear, let's not clear the scene. Let's just delete this group here. And create the 0 offset group. There we go. So we need to make sure that we parent the offset group inside of the 0 group. So let's do that. MC.parent. Let's create variables for this. 0 is equal to that, and then offset is equal to that. And then let's just print this to make sure it's not set in the group. 0 offset. So let's select this. Yep, cool. They are not in groups. I don't need to print this anymore. I can go to mc.print, or not print, sorry, parent 0, comma, offset. So select that, create 0 offset group. So I did it in reverse order. So let's put this here, 0. There we go. That's great. This control here should have offset information, which it does. So let us get that to position the 0 group. So here we can bring this back in, and we're just going to swap it out for 0 instead of item. And let's see if this works. So select that, create 0 group. So that is positioned right where we want it. It is taking the same information from the circle. Now we just need to parent the control to the correct group. So it's going to be offset that we want to be the parent, and then item to be the child. So let's try this. There, we have the 0 group. We have the offset group, so that way we can, offset group, we can offset any information. And the control itself is all zeroed out. That is perfect. That's what we need. Okay, that works really well. Shippy. Actually, let's do something where we may want to like mirror across the X. So let's create a set of buttons here, because we'll want to do these with controls too. We say mirror X, and then we're going to say mirror Y and mirror Z. So we're not actually mirroring it. We just want to change the position. So let's call this mirror. I'll put this X, we want it to be a string, so let's copy this, paste and paste. It's going to be Y and Z. So let's create a mirror function now. Let's define mirror, and that's just how I called it, cool. And then we'll say direction. So what I'm going to want to do is get the selection, cell equals mc.ls, sl equals true. Okay, so that'll give us a list. So for item in cell, we want to do stuff with it. So what we can do is mc.group cell, or sorry, item. So if we run this, you'll see that if we do that, we've grouped it. It is okay, so we want to create an empty group. Ha ha ha. Em equals true. Let's try that. There you go. And then we're going to parent that item to the group. So mc.parent, we need to create a variable for this. Mirror grp is equal to that. That is going to be the parent, so it has to be last. And the first thing is item. Okay, so let's delete this. And select that. And mirror. Select that. We can see that that's there. That's great. That's what we want. Okay, and we should probably, if we're mirroring it, mirror it from the 0 group. Okay, so we have created a group there, and then let's say if direction, oops, do dir, keep it short. If dir is equal to x, then mc.set adder mirror grp. Actually, let's make this even more efficient. We're not even going to do it with an if statement. Set adder mirror grp plus dot s plus dir. So that way we're using the variable here, we're using the name of the object, and we're doing the scale. And then all we need to do is -1. Okay. So I can select the 0 group, and I can mirror it across the X. I can also mirror it across the Y, or I can mirror it across the Z. So if I wanted to, I can duplicate this, duplicate, and then mirror it. I have it mirrored. That's a fun tool to use. And the cool thing is that if I do both of these and I mirror it, say across the X now, should do both of them over this way. The one thing I'm seeing is that we're keeping the null groups, so that's something that we want to fix. So mc dot parent, and then it's unparent, and I think it's just a flag inside of parent. Unparent. So we put it to world equals true. So world equals true. We just need to tell it what it is. It's going to be item. And then we can delete mc.delete mirror grp. Okay, so let's duplicate this and then mirror it. We did not delete that. Let's see, 176. Oh, might help if I wrote the whole name down. Let's just mirror this now across the X. See if it works. There we go. I can do it across the Z and then across the X again. Be back to where it was. And we have removed the group. It's just mirroring everything for us. That is great. That's what we want. All right, so I think I am going to end it here. There is a lot of tools for you. If you want access to them, I'll put a link and where you can get these access, or you can build it yourself, you can learn. But if you want all these tools, I'll give you guys a link where you guys can access them as well. All right, I'll see you guys later. Bye.